The nightmare continues for the Albuquerque Police Department from last night's protest to another deadly shooting just hours after that protest.
Then today, word that the feds could be gunning for criminal charges against the cops who opened fire on a homeless camper. And word that an international group now has APD in its sights. News 13's Alex Goldsmith starts our team coverage at police headquarters with the latest on the latest shooting.
Jessica, Dick, last night APD did release, earlier this evening, APD did release some video from last night's deadly police shooting. What they didn't show in that video is something that could answer a huge question.
Alfred, we don't want you to hurt yourself. Put the gun down.
That's what neighbors heard late last night as APD officers surrounded this apartment near 60th and Central, demanding 30-year-old Alfred Redwine surrender. It all started a little less than an hour earlier when 911 received a call that Redwine was threatening two teenage girls with a gun. Cops got a similar story on scene.
What was his words to you?
He goes, hey, back off, or I got something for you.
APD Chief Gorden Eden says officers learned Redwine, who has a violent criminal history, was holed up in an apartment. Eden says when he came out, he had a gun to his head. Cell phone video from across the street shows Redwine standing on the porch with something pointed to his head. You can hear a distraught Redwine yelling about his son.
Put the gun down.
There are some other reports where he had been in conflict with CYFD.
Seconds later,
Put the gun down, please. Stop it, remember?
Eden says one of his officers fired shots, and so did Redwine. But the chief would not say if Redwine fired at officers or into the ground, and APD did not release the lapel video that shows Redwine's actions.
We don't have all the video processed yet.
Redwine's sister witnessed the shooting and denies her brother threatened officers.
Was putting his hands down to his sides, and they just opened fire on him.
Eden shied away from drawing any conclusions today.
Chief, would you characterize this shooting as justified?
I'm not going to answer that question.
Now, although Eden says just one officer fired at Redwine, there are 4 on standard paid leave. APD is not naming the officer who pulled the trigger, but Eden did tell us that he's a 5-year vet without an officer-involved shooting. Back to you.
All right, Alex. As Alex mentioned, Alfred Redwine had a violent criminal history. He's been arrested for pointing a gun at a woman, domestic violence, trying to fight an APD officer, and drugs. His Facebook page features a pic of him holding an AK-47 while on probation and pictures of his various tattoos, including one over his forehead that reads, "Trust no," and then the B word.
There is word